magazine because I personally love reading them and would like to perhaps work for a magazine in the future. My classmates also wanted to do a magazine and we decided to team up for the project. Of course, we knew that we needed 4 different magazines, so we started by deciding on article topics and magazine name. After long discussions, we decided to name our magazine Perspective as it would show the world a different perspective of some things and issues. After we decided on the articles as well as the layout for the comment pages like the contents and the cover pages, we started designing it. We all have common things like the same font and page number styles. The layout for our contents page is also the same, although each of us have different styles that is shown through our final pages. Working as a team helped us experience real-life work situations and to also learn to value each other's opinions and suggestions. My magazine, in its technical aspects, follow most fashion magazine conventions. I looked at many fashion magazines like Cosmopolitan and Elle, which were the main 2 magazines that I took inspiration from. I noticed the type of pictures they had as well as the layout and the style throughout the magazine. Using and adding my own style to it, I tried to create something similar to those popular magazines. Cosmopolitan had a very informal and quirky look with all of their different fonts and colors. Elle was a little more reserved with their colors and fonts, but both had a similar style of pictures. My magazine had a combination of different fonts and colors. I didn't use too many different fonts as it looked too messy. I also only used 3 to 4 colors throughout the whole magazine to make sure it looked cohesive. On the other hand, my magazine also challenges standard fashion magazine conventions because the topic that I chose were not very common in fashion magazines. Usually, magazines cover topics about beauty, fashion, tips and hacks, celebrity gossip, and things along that line. My magazine challenged that convention as it spoke about breaking beauty standards and questioned society's expectations and opinions. Most magazines follow these fake standards. I also did not edit or Photoshop any of my models' faces or bodies as most magazines do. As for representing social groups, I think my magazine targets and speaks for many people and a majority of teenagers and people aged between 13 to 30. These people are the ones that are usually affected by society's standards and are often hurt by them. My edition of Perspective attempts to offer them support and tell all these people that these standards are not realistic and need to be destroyed. How does your product engage with audiences and how would it be distributed as a real media text? As my magazine represents a major part of the younger population in today's world, it would attract a lot of people and engage them as they would feel connected to the topics discussed in the magazine. The fact that the models on the magazine are not edited or photoshopped will help the audience to feel connected with them as they look normal and like everyone else. Apart from that, the magazine would have interesting quizzes and exclusive interviews with popular celebrities, and this would help to attract many people. As it is a new generation magazine, it would welcome all genders and social groups, and this will help it to have a wider reach. Perspective samples would first be distributed for free in shopping mall kiosks, airplanes and cafes so that people are aware of the brand and to introduce the brand into the market. Perspective would be distributed online using paid monthly subscriptions. It could be sold via print on websites like Amazon and Flipkart. It could also be promoted by selling it with some endorsed products like certain beauty products or clothing brands. For instance, if you buy for more than 2,500 rupees at H&M, then you get a free magazine. These methods could help to promote the magazine well and also help it to successfully earn profit. How did your production skills develop throughout the course of this project? During the course of this project, I learned so many new things. I learned how to use a camera and how to use lighting and mise-en-scene effectively to make my photos look the best. I learned about using the rule of thirds and spacing to position my models correctly within the frame. For the magazine task, I had to use InDesign and Photoshop to put the product together. I was a complete stranger to these softwares before this course. I always thought Photoshop was complicated, but I realized that I was wrong. I learned to edit my pictures and to use effects like the burn tool, etc. on Photoshop effectively. I can now use InDesign to make posters, books, and of course magazines. I realized that it was pretty easy to use once I figured out what all the controls did. For the critical analysis, I made a video and this helped me brush up my skills with the Windows Movie Maker. I made a lot of mistakes and had to correct them, but without those I wouldn't have known how to use the softwares as well as I do now. So now I know a lot of things I definitely didn't know in the beginning of this course, and I also learned to appreciate the effort that goes into any media project. How did you integrate technologies in this project? The softwares I used in this project are InDesign and Photoshop. Photoshop helped me to make my photos look better and to adjust details like brightness. I used it to make my cover and to add text to some pictures. I used InDesign more than Photoshop, and this was because I personally found it easier to use and because I didn't have a lot of editing to do, as I didn't want to edit my models' faces or bodies. I used it to put my magazine together and add text, add pictures, and to design the layout. It also helped me to view what my magazine would look like if it were to be printed. The hardwares that I used were my camera and laptop. Without my camera, I wouldn't have been able to complete my portfolio, as I wouldn't have been able to take photos for the magazine. I learned how to use it in the beginning of the year and gradually became very comfortable with it along the course of the project. I used it to take good quality pictures under natural light. My laptop helped me to use the softwares like InDesign and Photoshop and to view and select the pictures that I took with my camera. I used my laptop to do research about other fashion magazines and watch tutorials on how to use Photoshop and InDesign. It also helped me to use the internet to upload my blogs on WordPress. Online technologies I used were mainly Gmail, WordPress, and Google. I used Gmail to transfer pictures from my phone to my laptop and to send my work to my teacher to get suggestions. I used Google to conduct my research. WordPress was very helpful and I used it to upload all my blogs in progress, and it helped me keep track of my work. I also used Google Drive to save my work and Google Surveys to make surveys that helped me with my research. All of these technologies together helped me finish my project efficiently.